Hey friends, it's Shannon Dusky, and this is Unwind Your Life, a podcast where I unwind the deeper meaning behind life's ordinary events to inspire us all to live with more peace, joy, and intention every single day. I'm so happy you're here. All right, so last week, I was reminded of several life lessons when I found myself in Nora Lee's room at 1:30 in the morning with Hollis, who was butt naked and brushing his teeth. Let me tell you about it. So, Nora Lee was up for like 3 hours that night. It was really weird and bizarre. But finally, I had gotten her to Drew. She says, "Nuggle, daddy, bed." So we snuggle in daddy's bed. Then Hollis wakes up. And Hollis has had this strange thing lately. He's very, very sensitive to the way his underwear feel. If they're not the right height on his waist, or if they're too tight, or if they're too loose. He's just a very sensory person. He's always playing with his hands. He only likes specific shorts. He usually wears a rotation of the same shirts. He's very particular about how things feel on his skin and on his body. Okay. And so lately we've been going through this underwear debacle where there's one pair that fits. It's the orange Paw Patrol pair. And that pair had been worn several days in a row already. And so he's up and he's screaming because his underwear don't fit, and he's throwing a fit. And thankfully Samson sleeps hard, and Nora Lee was in with Drew. And so me and Hollis are having this minute, and I'm okay, I'm breathing. It's 1:30 in the morning. How are we going to make it through this, right? And so it escalates from there. So first the underwear are all wrong, and then the shorts are all wrong, and then the shirt is all wrong, and then he's like, "My throat hurts," because he had been screaming. And so he's he's just butt naked at this point because he's just ripping everything off. Okay. And then I was like, "Well, but can you get you some juice? Maybe I can get him to calm down enough so he can make his throat not hurt." And he's like, "I already brushed my teeth." And I was like, "Actually, buddy, we didn't brush our teeth. We forgot to brush our teeth tonight." And he's like, "I need to brush my teeth." And then all of a sudden he goes to something else and goes to something else. And finally I said, "Okay, hun." I'm like, "I know that you're upset. And there's a lot of things that you're upset about right now, and we can't solve them all at once. So what's the one thing that you want to do first?" And he's like, "I need to brush my teeth." So I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to go get your toothbrush and your toothpaste, and I'll get you your toothbrush so you can brush your teeth." So then, and I said, I'll go see if I can find your orange Paw Patrol underwear, because at this point, I don't give a shit if they're dirty. Just put them on. And so I get him settled with his toothbrush, and he, again, is just butt naked, brushing his teeth at 1:30 in the morning. He's never been so eager to brush his teeth. And I'm like, why? Why is this happening? So I go to the washing machine that I hadn't started yet and pull out the dirty Paw Patrol underwear and bring them to him. And he said, "You washed them?" And like a good mother, I said, "Of course I did." So he puts them on, and then we have to go find a different pair of shorts, and then we have to go find a different shirt, and then we get water, because water is allowed after you brush your teeth, of course. And eventually we get calmed down enough to make our way to bed. So what are these hidden meanings, right? The one thing. This is what happens when we get in this heightened state of anxiety, of frustration, is it all seems that like everything is going wrong all at the same time. Everything's going wrong all at the same time because like vibes attract like vibes, right? So the first thing we got to do is just breathe. I have a client who I asked once, I was like, should we breathe? And she's like, breathing always helps. And it's just this quote that I've always remembered. And I try to remind myself in different situations, like breathing always helps. And especially with Hollis, he's had a harder time kind of regulating himself when he gets worked up about these things. And so I have been learning along with him. And so just remember, like, when you feel like the world is crashing down on you, or maybe you just feel like your underwear is too damn tight, like breathe, just stop and breathe, because breathing always helps. The other part of that is that there are all these things going on in life at all times. And sometimes it's really hard to just be like, what am I going to do next? Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Like, it's really easy to get in this state of like worked upness and anxiety. But the truth is like, you can't do everything all at once. You can't solve all your problems all at once. So you can just stop trying and ask yourself, like, what's the one thing I can focus on right now? The one thing. So whether that's breathing, whether that's brushing your teeth naked in the middle of the night, like you focus on one thing. And then when you're done with that one thing, you ask yourself again, what's the one thing I can focus on now that that other one thing has been completed? And then you move to the next one thing. And eventually you calm yourself down and you get into a state of like, okay, this is manageable. I can handle this, which builds your confidence. Really, those are my big points to make. I just thought it was funny because I'm just like, what is life right now? Like, Norley is up for 3 hours. Hollis is doing this. And I am happy to report that we hit target on Saturday when we were in Omaha, or Sunday when we were in Omaha. And Drew and I did pick out underwear, 10 whole pair that Hollis actually likes. So we'll see how long he likes them. And also if there's like a next thing that we're going to have to battle with, which there always will be. And it is what it is. But right now we're focusing on one thing. We solved one problem and we're moving on to the next. So I would encourage you that if you're stressed about something, again, breathe, because breathing always helps. And ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do right now? What's the one thing I can do first? And once that's completed, what's the next one thing? Love you guys.